or being a developer. So whereby you only develop systems. So this is what we're all about today. This is what we're doing today, developing a web page. Okay, let me start now. Let me see. So long as we took you through the steps of creating a web page, and then we looked at tools that you can use to design or to develop your website, to create your website, right? We said we have text editors. We have different text editors that you can use to develop your website. So we have, for now, what you see in front of you now is a tool called Sublime, right? Sublime is a text editor. So if you want to write any Python code, you can use Sublime to write that. We call them the IDM, right? So this is the platform to write any code, to write any script that you want to write. And then you can, if you want to use C++, you can use Sublime to do that. If you want to program using what you call any programming language, you can use this platform. Right? And then we have other platforms outside these that we're looking at now. So we have platforms like what you call Visual Studio Code. So it's owned by Microsoft. So that's another platform that you can use to design a website or to develop any website that you want to develop. So you can use tools like that. Right? So this one is only a text editor. A text editor is a platform for you to develop or to write a code or to design or to write a code of your application that you want to work on. So this is what we have now in front of you. All right, let me just quickly show you another text editor. All right, so this is what you call, we say this is Sublime, and then down here I have another one which is called, so you can also use a notepad. The problem with the notepad is that it doesn't have IntelliSense, whereby it doesn't have that intuitive, it doesn't have that information. Let's say you are stuck somewhere, there's no debugging tool inside Notepad. There are so many features that Notepad doesn't have. It's just plain, so you can just write the information there, but it won't help you with debugging or not showing you if there is any syntax that is wrong. Unlike when you're using Sublime, when you're using Visual Studio Code, when you're using Anaconda. So those are the tools that makes it easy for you to debug, right? You can pick up any errors, you can pick up any problems in your machine. So they make that process easy for you to pick up. All right. Okay, let me do one more thing here on my system. Let me say open with code. So okay, open. All right, I have my system on the side here. So yeah, we said we have different text editors, which is just a platform for you to develop. Let me show you another one that I have here. Down here, I have what you see, Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio Code. It is color coded. So these code are given maybe to a property. You find this is a property and then this is a value. So all of the values, so it will tell you, okay, if you see this color, you know, okay, this is a property. Maybe when you see this type of color, this is a value. Or when you see this color, this is what you call a class that you are referring to. So it's color coded. Unlike the notepad doesn't have all of these features. And then again, if there is any syntax issues, notepad that can't really show you, can't pick up any syntax errors. You have to go through your code visually looking for that specific problem. Unlike when you're using Visual Studio Code, what it does, it can pick up any errors, and then you see maybe the errors highlighted in red, or you see like a squiggly red line at the bottom of that specific error. So they are easy to debug. So these are the tools that you will want to use when you are starting with your programming. For example, we said Visual Studio Code, they got cool features that you can use. In short, like what you call is IntelliSense. It's a feature that when, let's say, you've forgotten the syntax or you've forgotten the word, let's say maybe you want to say footer, you can see what it does. The minute so it has IntelliSense, whereby the minute I type in maybe 2 words or 3 words, it can pick up it, okay, maybe this is the word that you're looking for. So if you've forgotten, you just know, okay, there is a footer, but maybe you don't know the spelling or you don't know the correct syntax for footer, Visual Studio Code can really show you can display or give you intelligence of what exactly you're looking for. So this is the importance about these other text editors. Unlike the Notepad, if I go to Notepad now and then I type in down here at the bottom and then I say food, you see, if I say food, it doesn't have that intelligence. It doesn't pick up what's the word that I'm trying to type in there. So we call that intelligence, whereby the editor is able to pick up a word that you're trying to type in into that system. So Notepad, it doesn't have that. So that's why you see most of the developers are using Visual Studio Code or using tools like Sublime, using tools like Anaconda, which have intelligence, and also they have like the debugging feature. Debugging is whereby there is a syntax error or there is any different error in your system. So when it comes to development, we have different errors, right? We have the syntax error. I forgot some of the two errors where we have the logic errors, we have different errors. So the system or the text editor, some of them are able to pick up if there is a syntax error, and then it will show you that there is something that you need to fix on that specific system, right? So that's it when it comes to text editor. So if you're really interested in development, the ones that I'm going to advise you to, the text editors that I'll advise you to use is the Visual Studio Code, or you can use your Sublime, you can use the Anaconda, you can use any tool that will debug. That is a debugging feature that also can pick up, maybe let's say it has intelligence, or pick up any errors that you have done in your code, so that it can make your work easy. So there's so many tools like that online. Okay, but the thing is, some of them you have to pay for using them, and then some of them are just like they're free. Like for example, the Visual Studio Code I'm using here, I didn't pay anything, so you can just download Visual Studio Code and then install it on your machine, and then you'll be ready to, you can use that specific tool there, right? Okay, so that's it with the different text editors that you can use when you're a developer. So for now, I think I will go for Sublime. Let me say file, and then let's say if you want to open a new file, there's a file that I created that I want to open. So there's a file called retro on this folder. So I just want to open that file. Where is it called retro? Okay, that's the file that I want to open. It's a blank file. Right. So I believe last time Solomon showed you things that we call the elements, right, or the tags. So let me do this on the other side. W3 schools. All right, so as you can see now, the minute I start typing here, so Sublime is intelligence, right? The minute I start typing anything on my working area, it picks up, it shows me what it thinks, okay, this is what maybe I might be looking for. You see, that's the good part of the Sublime text editor. So the doc type, HTML. So what is that line used for? So what do you think that line is used for? Solom's went through this, right? We did the basics, the introduction. So what do you think that line is used for? Tisetso? Tisetso, what's the use of this line?
The first line.
Yeah, the first line that I just, can you see what I tapped in there on my screen?
No, I don't see anything. I see that you typed something, but I don't see what's that.
Okay, your network, I don't know if it's my network or, okay, let me do this. Let me say view and then try to zoom in. What's the shortcut for zooming in on this machine? I show enter full screen F11. I'm on full screen thing. So I just want to zoom in so you guys can see what. Okay, I forgot what's the shortcut for zooming in. Let me see if I can say. All right, there's a shortcut. Easy. All right, you guys can see that on your screen, right? The first line.
Yes.
All right, so this first line, we call it the declaration, right? So let's say you have started now developing, you have your Sublime ready, you have your text editor ready, might be Visual Studio Code. This is the first line that you're going to write. So this first line, we call it a declaration. So the declaration, what it does, it defines that this document is an HTML5 document. So you're telling the browser that is going to be reading this information. Any browser, it might be Chrome, it might be Internet Explorer, it might be Mozilla Firefox, it might be any browser that you use, right? So this line, it tells the browser that it's a declaration that defines that this document is an HTML5 document, right? So you're declaring to the browsers that this document was written using what? HTML5 document. Okay, so the second line that you will need is the HTML. So let's go with the HTML. And then you'll see, I'm sure Solomzi went through this a lot, right? Whereby he was talking about the opening tag and then the closing tags, things like that, right? So now most of these tags, they need a closing tag. So you'll see that this HTML tag now, so we call these tags, or some they will call it an element, right? So a tag or an element. So this HTML element is the root. Okay, there's someone who's making noise. There's a device that is making noise. Who's that? Okay, muted everything. Okay, so we have the HTML tag. So this tag now, we call it an element, is the root element of an HTML page. So it's the root. So all of your code, everything that you're going to be typing, it must be inside this because this is the root, right? All of the code that we're typing. So just know that this is the root element of an HTML page, right? So it needs this, the opening tag. So the difference between an opening tag and a closing tag, we say it is only that line there, right? Is this stroke that's the forward slash. And then the next one will be the head. I don't want to go through much into detail of this because you guys, you went through this with Solomzi. So you can see now I have the head there. What does that mean? This is an element which contains meta information about the HTML page. So anything, let's say now you want to link this site to a CSS document somewhere else. So what you do is you just type in that on this part. And then also you can also use this as a what you call for your title. If you want to type in a title, the title can go here. So the title can go in here, right? And then the title is just one. Okay, we're going to go through what title means, right? So the title is just specifies the title for the HTML page. So it just specifies the title for the HTML page. So if my website is about maybe let's say restaurant, right? Maybe let's say restaurant. Maybe let's say my restaurant, Kota Zone restaurant. Let's say my website is about that, so that's what I do there. That's the title of my website. And then the next thing, so this is the title. We said the head, it contains the meta information about the HTML page. So meta information, it can be maybe, it can be this that we have covered here, or it can be maybe, let's say, okay, Control Z. So it might be this, or it might be, maybe you want to link this site, you want to link this page to an HTML or CSS information. Let's say I want to link this to any CSS. Let's say I do that, and then let's say not that. Let's say link. You can see if you want to link to anything, then you can do that. You can type in that information. So this head, it contains meta information about the HTML pages. So you can do it for many things. Also, you can do it, maybe let's say you want to add the Google font, right? So there's a font that you're looking for that you want to be displayed in your website. So you can add that on the head tag. So this is the head tag. You can see the head tag and then the closing tag of the head tag there. There are some elements that come in without that don't have the closing tag. So this is the opening tag for title, and then the closing tag for title. So the title is only specified as a title for the HTML page, right? So there's the title, and then down here, after head, I want to do my body. So there is the body. So the body contains what the user is going to interact with. So that's the front end. What's the user going to see on the web page? So anything that you want to be displayed or to appear on the web page, it falls under the body. So the body element just defines the document's body and is a container for all the visible contents. All of the visible contents, they fall under the body tag. So things like such as headings, paragraphs, images, hyperlinks, tables, lists, and etc. They will be contained under this. So this part, we're saying it contains anything that you see. Let's say you type in advanced-assessment.co.za, which is advanced assessment website. Anything that you see on that website, it is contained under this this body tag, right? So that's what you're gonna find there. All right. So now I want to create a restaurant website. Let's say a client came to me and say, okay, they want a website. They want me to design a website for them, right? They want me to develop a website for them. So let's say now we're working on that specific website. So we can start now working on the website. So now when you're building a website or when you're building any site, right, these are the tags that you need before you start doing anything. You find that all of your website that you're building, they consist of these tags. So these, for me, I start with these tags before I get to the body or I start with my development. So these are the tags that you're going to see in all of the web pages. So you guys, you also going to develop a page, especially the one that Solomzi gave you, that taught you about the portal whereby the users have to go to the portal, log in their information, and then you that we use that site to save that information. Right? Let's say people are registration, we are advanced assessment, and then we want the learners to register on our website, and then you are given a task to design that, to develop that for form page whereby the users register with advanced assessment. So that is going to be part of your test, right? We're going to do that. So to get your certificate, you will need to submit certain projects. So the first project will be about the Cisco packet tracer. So you'll be required to build a network for a client, give you the client requirements, and then you design a network based on the client requirements. Right, that's the practical, and the practical for the networking side of things. And then the practical for web development is whereby you'll be requested to develop a web page, right? A web page where there is a form, and then the users can register with advanced assessment in that form. So those are the things that you guys need to build, right? So that's why I'm going through this with you guys, so that for this exam you'll be able to pass it, or the practicals you'll be able to pass it without having any problems. So as I said, that you guys, when you're building your site, right, these are the elements that you will need to add on your system, on your not what you call a text editor. Okay. So once I have this, now I need to design. I know Solomzi showed you a lot of things, right? It's just that you guys are lazy. You don't want to go through the YouTube videos, the link that I sent you about the web development. So if you go through that web development link, you'll be able to build your own form using that information that Solomzi taught you. So now today, I just want us to focus on building a web page for a restaurant. Let's say you are running a quota zone, or there is someone else at home or in your kasi whereby they want to build, they want a website for their restaurant. So here's the main aim of a learnership, right? So the reason why we run learnerships, right, is because we want you guys, like after the learnership, you must have a skill whereby it's either you start your own business or you become employable, right? So that's why we say now, if you want to be employed or if you want to consult, then we want to give you all the information so that you can start your own thing, or you can be employable, work for any organization so that you can gain more experience, and then after that you can start consulting once you have gained more experience. So that's why I'll try by all means to introduce you guys to everything that we have in IT, so that maybe you might find something that you're interested in and then pursue that. Right. So you might use this skill also to make some cash on the side, right? People coming to you, they want website. You said, okay, I studied IT, I know how to create a simple website. So that's what I want to do. I want to take you through, guys, the steps or the process of designing a simple website, right? So how many people do you have laptops there with you? If you have a laptop, show by raising your hand. Okay, so we have a few that have laptops there with them. All right. So have you guys downloaded this text editor? Mobile, have you downloaded the text editor so that you can follow along?
No. Oh, I haven't.
Mobile, I couldn't hear you. I'm not sure if it's my network or your network. Tisetso, have you downloaded the text editor?
I tried downloading it, but I couldn't.
Okay, I think I have a problem on my side here. Okay, let me change my settings on my network. Let me put it on. Okay, Mobile, how about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so my speaker had a problem. All right, so I'm saying, have you downloaded the text editor?
No.
Why? Because this is more of a practical assignment where you need to follow as I type in these commands or this line of code. Okay, if you haven't downloaded any, you can use a notepad. So just open Notepad and then type in what I have on my screen if you really want to follow along.
Okay.
So just open a Notepad and then
Doing it right now.
you're doing it. Okay. All right, guys. All those that have laptops, let's do that. And then next week, you guys, you will come to advanced assessment, especially all those that don't have laptops, and then the ones that have laptops. We're going to be doing this practical in class here at advanced assessment. I'll give you laptops and then go through this. All right, so we said you guys need to have this on your notepad, right? So start with the doc type HTML. We said this is a declaration, right? It declares that this is an HTML5 document. And then HTML tag, we said this is the root of this page, right? Everything must be contained inside this page. And then this is the head, which contains the metadata, right? Information about other information about other data that we have in our system here. It falls under the head. And then the title, it just specifies what the website is all about, gives the title of the website. And then this one, we say this is the link, which links to a CSS document outside this, right? We're going to talk about that part. And then we have the body. We said anything that would be visible to the user, right? To the end user, it falls under the body. So what the user interacts with it will be under the body tag. So that's what the user was going to see. All right, so now I just want to start with the div, right? So let's start with now creating, okay, I'm not going to need this for now. Let me just delete that line. Let me just delete that line. Okay, I'm left with these lines now. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do a style, internal styling, right? CSS internal styling. So just have this information. All right, so now I want to start with, this is what we want to build. Let me just show you an example of the site that we're looking for, that we're working on building right now. Let me see if I can find that site somewhere anyway on my desktop. Let's say my site. So here's the website that we want to build, right? I know the colors might not be nice. You guys gonna work on the colors and things like that. So this is what we're gonna be working on. So down here, let's say, so this is maybe at the back, the background picture might be the picture of that quarter zone shop or restaurant. Maybe that's just displaying their quota at the back. And then maybe here they have different quotas that they have. Then you display that information there, or different pictures or different things that they save. You have that picture there. And then about us is the information about the client that we're working, the website that we're building the client for. Let's say information about maybe when did they start building when they started the restaurant, and then who's the owner of the restaurant, when was it founded, things like that. And then our menu, these are the things that we sell. We can talk about the rushes, we can talk about what do we find in a quarter zone, like what do they usually sell, like on the menu, what can we put on the menu?
Chips.
You can put the chips, right? What else can we put there?
Cheese and French.
All right, so all of that, those are the things that we can put on the menu, right? Says, okay, our quotas will have this cheese, with this type of chips, maybe the sauces, the type of sauces that we use might be added here, right? Or maybe we, down here, our experts, right? We're talking about the people that, or you can change these to, instead of saying our experts, and then say maybe our chef, right? So the people that are making the quotas. So maybe we have two people working for us. We write their names. We have their picture there. I didn't have the picture for people who are just added food. So you can see, type in also their name there, the name of that person. So this is basically what we want to build. It's a simple website. So you can use this website, maybe charge someone else 1.5 or 800 or 2,000, whatever amount you want to charge them. So I'm showing you a website that might be something that anyone around your Kasi might request, a site like this, similar to this. It doesn't have to have more information, just the basic information about the website. Or you can change, edit this whichever way you want it. But now I just want us to go through the structure of that. How do we go about building a decent website, right? Okay, so I'm back now on my text editor. So here's my text editor. So I want to start with something called a header, right? So we're going to start with the header, which is, let me check here on my side. So start with the header. As you can see, we spoke about the opening tag and then the closing tag. So most of these elements, they come in with the opening tag and then the closing tag. So you need to always add that, the opening and the closing tag. But the text editor like this, if let's say there's something that is missing here, let's say that is missing, or let's say maybe I didn't close that, you can see down here, it shows you with that red color at the bottom here that there is something that is missing at the top. So that's what I was talking about when I said it helps you with debugging. It can pick up the syntax errors. Then it shows you, okay, there is an error there. So now, the minute I see this red color there, it shows that it tells me that there's something wrong at the top there. Then I need to fix that. Then you see, the minute I fix that, it changes, that color goes, right? And then you can see now it is this quickly line is complaining about something, but once I move out my cursor, click anywhere, then it goes to normal. So that's why most people would prefer text editors like Sublime. But if you do the same thing with your notepad there, mobile, you will notice that you can't see all of these. And then whatever you're typing there is not color coded, right? So if you make mistakes, it's difficult for you to tell where exactly to locate that mistake. That's why I would like when on Tuesday, when you come in this side, we're going to install the Sublime, also install maybe Visual Studio Code, whichever a text editor tool that you prefer, then we're going to install that on your machine because it will help you when you're building your site. Okay, so talking about the structure or the layout or the header information, why do I need this header information? What is this used for? So this header information, it defines a header for a document or a section, right? So you want a section, right? You want to control a certain section, so you can give that section a name. Give it a header tag, and then whatever information that you control or you put inside here, it will have its own section. So it is similar to if you have done what you call graphic designing, right? Whereby you have to design an invitation card. So things like that, what you do is you need to have that card to have like different containers so that you can edit things differently, right? In different environment. So that's why we have this this header tag so that we can control, send controls that are different to this site, right? So the header tag defines a header for a document or a session. So I just want to create a session here using the header. So that's what I have there at the top. Then now next it will be, let's say I want to create now the div. Let me put a div. Shucks. Run command, run, let's say I want to put a div there. So what does a div do? So Solomon spoke about the block level and then inline level or tags like that, right? I'll show you what that means. And then class equals to, let's say, so the class now, it will come in handy when I want to style my website. So we're going to use CSS to style our website. So CSS stands for cascading style sheet. So HTML, what it does, it just gives you a structure or the layout of the website. It doesn't really style your website, doesn't give the color, doesn't give the put the colors, it doesn't change the font and all those things. So if you want to change, do all of those things like changing the font, adding colors, or maybe centering of the, let's say maybe it's a div or whatever you want to center, you can use CSS. So CSS is a language that is used for styling the HTML elements. So the class here is a CSS property, and then now here I need to put like a value that I'm going to use to control this. So I say restaurant. Right, Solom's went through this, so that's why I just wanna, some of the things I won't be explaining all of them, right? So let's say now, this is the name of my, this is the name that I want to appear on my web page, right? So quarter zone, maybe let's say restaurant. Come on, restaurant. How do you even spell restaurant? I think that's the correct spelling there. And then I close my div, right? So I close my div. So when I call in or when I select this restaurant class, then that means whatever controls that I'm applying, they'll only apply to this div, right? So this one, I will use it for class property or class value. I will use it for styling this specific line. So if I wanna change the font of this quarter zone restaurant, then I can call restaurant. You're going to see that when we starting with the CSS part, right? So class comes in handy for that part. And then now, are we all following? Is anyone left behind? So we have like the div class. So we have that first part. And then now I want the second part. So you'll see how it appears. So this is what I'm working on now. Let me just show you. So right now on that div, the line that I was writing now, this is what we're working on now. So we're typing in this. So we want to apply this on our website, right? We're working on this. So next thing that we're going to work on will be this part. So for now, you saw that as I wrote quarter zone restaurant. So that will be this part. Okay, so this is the part there that we're working on. So if you want to individually control that, then we can use the CSS class property, which is restaurant. Okay, let me do another line. So now I want to do a div, right? And then class. And then let's say nav for navigation. So I want to work on the navigation, right? I'm not going to close that because I will close it after the anchor tag. So an ordered list. Do you guys remember this tag? Solomzo went through this tag. He showed you what is it used for, and then where you're going to use that for. Nobile, do you remember this tag, the UL? Okay, Nobile logged off. Was not online. Do you all guys remember this tag? Or you were not in class that day? Okay, it's fine. Looks like you guys, I'm not sure if you are still online or you're offline now. So there is the list now.
So isn't it for the list?
Yes, it is for the list, right? So I thought maybe you guys you logged in and then you left. All right, so this first line, right, we said is for the quarter zone restaurant, the line that we saw on the left side of the website there, right? So now this div now is the one that I want to house or just cover this list in. So the first list is, let's say, start with the anchor tag and then the href. So this is a link. And then if you are not linking this line to anything, you can just leave it with the hashtag like that. But if you want to link it to something like home, then you can do that link. And then after this, you can type in home. So this is what's going to appear on the user screen, right? They're going to see this. And then this part is just for the link to maybe to this home tag or home link. All right, let me close the A. So you can see I have my A there, and then the anchor tag, and then I'm closing it there. But I haven't closed this link tag, right? I have to close it there, and then there is closed, right? So I have home. So this, what we're working on now, what this line, let me show you the line. So this is what we've done now. We have created this home tag now, right? This home. And then now the next one will be menu. The next one will be experts. The next one will be about us. So you will see that we're going to activate this, or that link is going to be used for internal linking, right? Let's say if I want to see the menu, right? Have you ever seen, let's say, when you visit any website and then you click all these bars, they take you to a certain page, right? They link you to a certain page. So now we have menu. If I click on menu, you see it takes me to our menu, all the information about our menu. And then experts is supposed to link me to the page of the experts. Okay, this one is not linked to that. Let me see about us. About us, you can see it links me to about us. So that's what we want to do. But now the first line, that line that we have done now is for this part, right? It's only for this part. Let's say now we want to add this second line. Then we go back to our page. And then if you are lazy, if you're a lazy programmer like me, you can just copy this because the lines are going to be the same. So I copy that. And then I say Control V, I paste it there. And the only thing that I'm changing is this part, because now it's for menu. And then also down here is for menu, right? How many do we have? We had like 4 of them there. So I do the same thing, Control V, so I copy. and paste it there. And then down here is for expect. All my expect. Now, like here is just, let's just say expect, and then I write there. This is what is going to appear on the user screen. Control V, and then the last one we said is about us. But I want to change. I want to do this. Let's say I want to about us. Maybe I want to change the order here. Let me cut this because I want about us to be on top of the expect. I want expect to be the last one. Let's say cut, and then I just paste it here. So you can see I start with home, menu, about us, and then expect. So this is what you're going to see. We have home, menu, and then now on our side we said we want to start with about us and then end with expect. Home, menu, about us, and then expect at the end there. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So that's what we have now, right? So that's what we're working on now. This top part. So that's what we have there, this top part. We're only focusing now on this top part only, right? That's the top part that we're focusing on. So, all right, as you can see here, there is what we have. We started with the div. We said this part is for the quarter zone restaurant, which is the part on the left side. All right, and then now we need to close this div, right? The div. So we can close it here. The div there under the ordered list. So let me just push it to the top so that it looks neat. All right, so I have that. Those guys that are typing, are you guys following? The ones that have laptops, are you guys following?
Yes, I am
Yes.
following, but you're a bit too fast.
I thought I was
I'm
slow.
also
That's
following. No,
you
we are
also
just too
following.
fast. Because
All
there's
right,
this line that I didn't complete.
all right. Which line? The one at the top.
Yeah, the
Oh,
other one.
so let's start with this one, right? So this is the line that's important. We said this line is for what we have on the left side there, right? What we have here on the left side, which is the quarter zone restaurant, right? And then the second line, the list is for this part. So this is the list, home menu. So this is the navigation part. So here is what we have here on my side. So I'll just give you like a few seconds there just to. I'll just give you a few seconds just to go through that. So on this part, as I said, you can copy, once you do the first line, you can copy that and then change this part, the small parts here. Okay, how far are we now?
Okay,
Tisetso.
I'm getting there. For me, I'm about to do the last line.
All right.
I'm at expects.
All right. Am I moving fast or you guys are slow typers? Like when you're typing, step slow.
No, you're moving fast.
Wow. All right, let's just go through that and then, because I want you guys to have at least a skill that you're going to use even after this learnership. Because sometimes you find that, okay, maybe the companies don't take you permanent, but if you have a skill that will bring some income at home or for you, then you don't need to work for nobody. Then you can just do this for a living.
Okay, I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm done.
All right. Nontobeko, how far are you? Tisetso, how far are you? Done, right?
Yes, you can proceed.
All right, so now you guys that are using Notepad, right? I want you guys to save that document. But when you are saving the document now, I want you to save it as, okay, let me just take you maybe through the steps of that. Let's say, let me do this, go back to my Sublime. So let's say I want to just copy this. I want to show you how to save that document. Let's say I copied that. I just want to open my Notepad. Let's say file, let's say new document. So on your side, this is what you have, right? You have something similar to this, no colors, nothing, right? Just like this.
Yes.
Right, Mobile, right, Tisetso? This is what you have, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's say you have done this, right? And then now you want to save this document, right? So what you do is you go to file and then say save. Choose any location or create a folder. I want to save it on desktop, right? So that's my document that I have there. Let's say maybe my web page, right? My web page. And then make sure that the extension that you use is .html. So let's go through that. Let me close this and then start afresh with you guys. So you go to file, right? And then click on save. Let's say you want to save this on desktop. On my side, I want to save it on desktop. I want to show you this page on my desktop. So I said my web page .html. The extension is important, right? So you're telling the browser or you're telling your computer that this is an HTML document. So you'll see the way it saves it. It will use your default browser as the icon to show, okay, this document will only be opened by the browser. So have we done this? So you choose the location where you want to save the document first, right? And then my web page .html. So I want to save it on my desktop, right? Say save. So so let me look for, you see, where is it? My web page. You see, this is how it looks like. So on your side, if let's say Internet Explorer is your default browser, you'll see an icon of Internet Explorer. If it's Chrome, you will see it appears like this. Do you guys have this?
Yes, I do have it.
All right. So good. So now let's open this so that we can see. You will see that the only the browser, your default browser, is the one that is going to open this, right? So double click it or open it the way you open your documents. So on my side, I'll double click it. So you can see this is what we're typing now. So do you guys have the same thing? If you don't have this, that means there is something in your line of code that needs to be fixed.
Okay, mine is like this.
All right, Tisetso.
I'm still checking.
Luyanda, it is like this, right?
Yes.
All right. So you can see now your browser is the one that opens this. The reason why your browser is the one that opened this is because we used an extension which is .html. So anytime you use extension, yeah, just go through it. Let me see. Tisetso, are you struggling? All right, Tisetso, are you winning? All right, so this is it. So, okay, let's go back to this. Let's say now you want to edit this document, right? You want to, because if you double click it now, it goes straight, open it using the browser. So now let's say you don't wanna open it using the browser, but you want to edit this document now, right? So right click it and then choose open with. Now you want to open it with your text editor, which is your notepad now. You see? So open that with a notepad. So you right click, you know how to right click and then choose an option, open with a notepad. So you see, when you open with notepad, then now we can start working on this again. Are we back on this part now?
Yes, I'm back on this part.
All right, so okay, let me minimize this. And then let's say now, next time you have made some changes on the source code. So this part, we call it the source code. So I'm going to be referring to this part as the source code, right? So this is the code that builds your website. This is where you are building your website. So I call it the source code. I'll be calling this the source code, right? So now, if you make changes to your source code, you will want to see those changes if they've applied. So you come back to the browser and then just refresh and then see if those changes have been applied. Right? So that's how you're going to do it. Right? So now we want to go back to the source code. So when I'm talking about the source code, I want you to go back to the source to the notepad. Yes. So you guys are back at this now. All right, so let me go back to my Sublime. And then, okay, we all have this now. So, but as you saw that on this part now, you can see every default browser. This is default settings for the browser. Once you type it, it has like the default margins, it have like the default paddings. So whatever we typed in, this our code, it took the default settings of the browser. Every browser has its own default settings, right? So we want to change these, right? You can see this one, the padding or this part here, the distance from here to this part, it is way too wide. Like we want to change the margin and the padding. So when I put it to 0 so that we can move this to the side. All right. So now go back to your source code. Here is your source code, right? So now, in order for us to do that, we need to add CSS styling, right? CSS styling. There we have it. So we have so many ways of adding CSS. So we have internal CSS whereby we can apply. We have inline whereby we apply the styling in this line, right? And then we have internal CSS styling whereby we can do this that we want to do now. So type in. So ladies and gents, go back to, you see where there is your title. Under title there, type in style, right? Opening tag for style. And then we need the closing tag for style. So I don't need this. I can just close this. So this part here, we're using, when I apply CSS styling, but we're using CSS internal styling, meaning that the CSS code is going to be on the same page with our HTML code. So we said HTML is just there for the layout of the page and then also the structure of the website. And then when it comes to CSS, it is for controlling or centering the div or what you call, like giving life to the web page. You saw that it is dry. Our website is very dry, right? It doesn't really, you see, it's very dry. There is no colors. It's only the blue and the black. And then if we want to center now this, we need CSS. If we want to move this from here to the left side, if we want to move that, let's say, where's my pen? Bro. So let's say, come on, I want to draw there. Okay, I say close that. Come on, I want to draw on screen. Okay, this pen doesn't want to draw anymore. I don't know why. Okay, no, it's fine. Let me just exit that. Close that. So you can see there is no life into this. So we want to add life, want to move things to the side or center it. So CSS is the one that we can use for styling. So as you can see here, under your title, I said just add style. So the spaces in between this, it really doesn't matter how many spaces you have created. It's just like for me to make things clear for you on your side. So it doesn't really matter how many do you have on the side. All right. So do we all have that now? I just want to show you something. All right. So once we have the style here, now we want to add the CSS styles, right? So we can star. So the star, what happened here? So this star now, it says it's mainly for, it's saying everything that's in within the, this is, I want to create my own default settings, right? To say, okay, the margin is supposed to be 0. And then the padding, 0, right? You will see, as we said, that the browser is its own default settings. So we just want these changes that we're making, we want the changes to apply to our web page. So once we have this information, make sure every time you make changes on the notepad, you have to save those changes and then you can go check them on the web browser. Because if you don't save them, you will feel like, okay, the changes that you applied, they didn't take effect. So for example, now we have made these changes and then want to verify if the changes that we've made, they've been applied to the web browser, to our web page, right? So Control S, a shortcut to save, or you can go to File and then click on Save. So once you make changes, you have to save those changes, right? So now I want to go to the web page, our web page, and then check if the changes that we have made, did they apply now? Okay, so I will close
Okay,
this.
can you please? No, I just wanted to say something. Sorry. Could you please go back there? Yeah, I'm still doing this.
Well, this is just like 4 lines, Mobile.
Yeah.
Is it the typing issue?
No. Wait.
All right, so let's type in.
Yeah, I think I'm done now. Yeah, you can go.
Luanda, how far are we?
I'm done.
Who else is typing? Tisetso.
I'm done.
All right. Okay, it's Mobile who's slowing us down, right? So okay, so we have the style there, and then we have the margin, right? So let me show you what that means. So make sure that you save that, right? All the changes you make, save them, and then now on the browser you see there's a refresh button there, right? The shortcut is F5 to refresh a web page, or you can click there, it will refresh that. And then see if there's any changes. There must be changes. Is there any changes on your side? It was supposed to push this part to the end. So if it didn't do that, that means I didn't save that information. Did it move on your side, Luanda?
No, it didn't.
Yes, it moved. Mine, it moved.
Mobile, yours it moved. So that means on my side, there's something wrong that I didn't do. Maybe I didn't save that. Luanda, it didn't move. This is supposed to move.
Let me try it again.
Okay, let me also do the same on my side because it didn't move, meaning that maybe there's one thing that I did wrong somewhere here. It must be the issue with the saving of this information. Let me say file and then save that information, or Control S, save that information. And then if really I saved everything correctly, then I click there. On my side, it's still complaining. There must be something wrong.
Mine did move now.
Yours moved now, right?
Yes.
Okay, on my side, my margin and padding. Okay, file. Save my file. And then file. Save my document. Okay, my style is there. Let me see if there's anything wrong. Okay, I'm not picking any error on my side, but it's not moving, meaning that there is something wrong on my side. Okay, let me do this. Where's my web page? Is this one? Okay. So it's complaining about something. Back to my source code. Let me check it. Okay, we're gonna come to that. On my side, it hasn't moved, but on your side, if it moved, it's fine. For me, I will control with something else on this side, right? So that's one line that we've controlled. So what we're doing now is getting rid of the default settings, right? These default settings that we applied on the browser, right? So we're saying, okay, what we need now is just like a new setting. Let me see something here. So what we need now is new settings to this browser. Let me just copy this because my retro must be something here. Control V. Okay, file. Save that. Okay, still doing the same thing. So I'll check what is it causing that to do that. All right, so now the next thing that we want to do now is to control this part. Remember, I said to you the classes now. Let's say, for example, there's a specific line or there's a specific line of code that you want to edit, that you want to control. Let's say, for example, we have this quarter zone restaurant, which is that information on the side, right? So this quarter zone restaurant information that we have here, we want to move that information, right? We want to move it to the side. We saw that now it's just there at the top, right? And then also want to change the colors, want to change the padding. Solom's explained to you what padding is all about, right? What is padding last time, right? So let me see now if I can be able to do that on this side, on this code. So this is what we want to control now, this line using, so the class is just a CSS property, and then this is the value. So if you want to control this, we use the value. So we want to call the value here on the top part, on the CSS information. So let's say when I call restaurant, so when you are calling the class, you start with the full stop, right? Start with a full stop, and then type in what you want to control. Restaurant, right? So we want to control this line. So we're saying if you want to control this, you're going to use this line here, this word here, right? So you can copy this word so that in terms of spelling, it mustn't be, if it's different in terms of spelling, then you're going to have a problem there. Let me just control V there so it's just restaurant, that line, right? So anything that you want to control on CSS, you call, we call it the selector. So this one becomes our selector. There's our selector. We copy that, copy, because we want to control this. So controlling this, which selector are you using, right? We are using the restaurant selector, right? And then we said, when we are using a selector that is under class, you must start with the full stop, and then, and on the side, we need these, the curly braces. As you saw that at the top, we had the same curly braces. We had the star says the default everything, right? Includes everything. And then margin, and then padding, meaning that we were controlling the settings there, right? Now we have restaurant on our side. So do we all have this under this part? Do you have restaurant? Just type in restaurant.
Yes, I have.
Yes, I have.
All right. So what exactly that we're doing now? What are we doing now? So we're saying we have this line of code, right? And then it has quarter zone there. So we want to control this, want to apply styling to this specific line. So this line is unique to other lines. How is it unique? It's unique because of this restaurant selector of value, right? That's how it's unique. So when we're applying changes, when we are applying CSS styling here on this CSS platform here, only these changes that we apply here going to be applied to this line because the unique selector or the unique value is the restaurant. Does that part make sense? So
Yes.
in CSS styling,
Yes.
the reason why we apply classes is so that we can control a specific line of code or a specific value. So the selector is just used to apply CSS styling to a specific line of code or to a specific group of lines of code. For now, this restaurant line, it will apply to what? Only this line. And now next, if we want to apply changes to this part, we can choose either nav or we can choose the selector or we can choose this UL. So you're going to see all of that information after that. So now we are on restaurant. We want to control this part, right? Okay, let's get to that part there. And then what exactly is the first thing? Let's say now we want to change the color of this quarter zone. As you can see now, the color, okay, this one, the color is, what color is this? Is it yellow? It looks like yellow though, or orange or something. So you can see now here, the color is black. So we want to change the color of this part, right? And then we also want to change the padding or also change the size of the font. So whatever changes that we make, they will only apply to this because it has a unique class, right? Okay, so we are back at this class. There we are. So we're saying we want to start with color. There is color. So type in color there. As you can see, these are Sublime or other text editors that have IntelliSense. They make it easy for you to edit or to work on your website, right? It's quicker because once you type in CO, it kind of picks up the word that maybe fall after that. Is it color or whatever you want to do? It picks up. So it has IntelliSense. It makes it easy for us. So the color, you can choose your favorite color, any color, right? So colors, so long as last time showed you that you can use the hexa, right? So this, if you take this and then say copy, and then I want to put it in my browser and then see what color is it. Control V, Control V. What color is this? Color code in HTML. What color is that? It's white, right? You can see that is white. So it's the hexadecimal. So you can either use the hexadecimal when applying colors, or you can write straight there. You can write white, right? So you have so many options to use when it comes to applying colors to this. Okay. So maybe for me, for now, I don't want to use white because the background is white and then you won't see any changes there. So I say maybe let's say orange, right? The colors up to you, right? There's something about designing, right? Especially what I've noticed with the ladies. The ladies are good when it comes to designing a website. Us guys, you find that you know how to develop a website, but when it comes to colors that you put or add to the website, you are mixing color like red, orange, whatever, and then the design is not nice, but the development or the layout of this website, it's looking good, but maybe the designing, it is not really looking good because maybe you might not be strong in the color side of things, right? So in every organization, there will be people that specialize in CSS or designing or adding colors and all those things, and then there will be people that only maybe do let's say HTML or the layout of the website, or you can do both if you're really good with everything. For me, I just, the colors, I just add anything there, I will see in the end. Okay, so that's the color. Okay, let's save this and then see if there are any changes. Let me say save that. So we have added color, file, save that. Okay, let me see if, let me go to my browser and see if the color has changed there. On my side, it's still complaining. There's something wrong that I did on my side that I need to troubleshoot. Check on your side, guys. I'm sure the color has been applied, right? Did the color change on your side?
No.
So you have this line, right? The div, right? Check here. If the color didn't change, these are one of the things that might cause the problem, right? The name here that we have here must match what we have here at the top. Right?
My color has changed.
Your color has changed, right?
Mine too also has changed.
All right. But on my side, it's refusing to save this information. I think I have to switch now to, let me say save, and then maybe after this, I have to change to a different text editor because this one is giving me some problems. So once you refresh that part, the colors must have changed. Okay, mine colors are not changing, so I need to change the browser now. I need to change the text editor. Okay, let me just copy this and then also copy the entire thing, and then let me use my notepad. Okay, let me apply a tab there. Say Control V. So I have this, let me say file, and then save that. Okay, let me see. All right, so it changed, but now I have so many information there. So is my notepad. Okay, because I have, oh, that's why. Okay, let me do this. Delete that, Control V. So file, and then save that. And then let me check here. So you can see now it's working fine. That means the problem was with my browser there on the side. I don't know why is it giving me that problem. And then I don't like using Notepad. Let me do this. File, and then open the file. Which one I want to open on my desktop? I have a file there that I want to open. We called it my, right? So, okay, instead of having it there, now I'll edit everything here. Okay, so instead of using Sublime, now I'm using this, right? Because Sublime was giving me problem. So you can see the line that we applied, color, it changes the color of that specific element. So now let's change the font. The font, what I like about these text editors is they are very, they have IntelliSense, makes it easy for me. So font size, you can see if you've forgotten how to change or add the size of the font. So you have this option, larger, medium, small. Also, you can also use pixels, right? So for now, I just want to say 24 pixels. Or you can use, there's so many formats that you can use. You can use percentage if I'm not mistaken, but this is the font size. We're changing the font size of that. So I say file and then save this document. So we only have added one, sorry, we have added one line. Okay, let's add other line. So we know what font is all about. Font size, we're changing the font size. It's similar to what we have in Word document, right? When you are working on a Word document and then you go to font sizes whereby we have font 11, 12, 14, things like that. That's what we're doing here. Okay, now the padding now. The padding is just the space around this content. So padding, what's our padding? Usually for this, I would prefer 20 pixels. So type in the padding also. So the first line was the font size. So the padding, so let me explain what padding is. Said the padding is just the space around the context, your content, right? So if your content, which is quarter zone, so you're creating a space around that. Okay, padding, and then font weight. So let's say font weight, font weight. Give me font weight there. There's font weight. You can choose up to CX 600. And then the important part is float. Float left. Shucks. Okay, so let me talk about this as you guys type here, right? Let me push this backwards there to be at the top. Okay. So we called restaurant class, right? So these changes must apply, or they apply directly to the any content that is inside the restaurant line. So we have color, we have changed color. We have font size, which is the size of the font. We have padding just the space around the content. And then we have the font weight, which is like the weight of the font, right? How big you want the font to be, not in terms of size, but the weight of the font. And then the float now is the one whereby it will take the this information, push it on the left side. Okay, let me go back to my to this part. Where is that quota zone? Okay, let me look for my site. Let me look for my site. Da, 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 da. And then let's say practice, no, lesson 2. So there's my site, right? So the reason why we're saying float left, we're pushing this part to the left side of the web page. So this is your left side when you're facing your computer, right? This is your left-hand side, right? And then this one, when we are controlling this, we're going to say float right, because we want it to be on the right side. So float, choose a direction, left, and then float on this one, we're going to say float to the right, right? So the weight is just how big, the text is going to be, not in terms of like size, but the weight of it, right? Okay, so let me go back to my, I'm no longer using Sublime, I'm using this. So ladies and gents, do we all have this? The tab, do we have this information now? Restaurant, we have color, orange, the font size there, and then the padding,
I
we have
am
that.
observing, sir. I'm going to do it later.
All right, okay. Font weight there. So font weight, I'm sure you guys have viewed PowerPoint, you've used Word, whereby the font weight is just like not the size, but the weight of the text, right? So we're changing that because this is the heading, right? So you're gonna need to change the weight of the text, make it bigger. And then float is floating to the left side, right? So if we want to check the changes that we have applied, those changes, what we do is again, file, save. So most time when I'm developing or creating this website, what I do is I start with my HTML code, right? Run it there, and then make some changes. And then once I apply changes, I want to see that was I able to apply those changes or not, right? Okay, so as I said, file, save, or shortcut, Control S. Let's check there. Where's my web page? Is here. And then refresh that and see if you're able to manage to apply those changes. Okay, so you can see now quota zone is on the left side, right? So that quota zone restaurant, this part is supposed to be here, but we want this part here now to move to the right side. So we want to float this to the right side. Okay. All right, let me see if I'm missing out anything. Okay, that's it for now. Let's move to the next one. Okay, there is something that I missed, I think, on this part. I want to add something. Okay, there, that is fine. So on the on top of the header, right? I want us to add another div there. The one that we're going to use. I want to add a background to our the background picture. You remember this background picture? Where is it? So there is a background picture. So we want to create a div that will allow us to add a background picture that will be behind this line, right? Behind these elements. So let's add it here on top. You see under body, go down there on your body, under body, immediately after under body, just add a div there. Okay, to make this neat, just put it there. Let's put it here. Let's say I want to add a div there, and then put a class. I want to create a banner for me there, right? Let's say, come on, class, and then make banner, the one that I'm going to use to control this part. Okay, I have this there. No, but I want to cancel this. I want to cut that. So, and then put it behind or under the header. So when I close that div under the header. So what anyone who's following along, right? So what I did is I wanted to add one div. So because I want to add a background behind all of this information, a background picture behind all of this, right? So this is the part that we're adding only now. This div class equals the banner. So we're going to use this value or this selector to add a background picture behind this text. So add div class equals banner, right? And then at the bottom of header, add the closing tag for this opening tag. Luanda, you got that one?
Yes.
Okay, I
So
got it.
you got it. So the reason why we're adding this, right, is so that we have, that's why you can see this div, it houses all of these, right? So meaning that the picture that we want to add on this part, it will be behind all of this information, right? So that's why we're adding this part. So we're gonna call this banner tag or this banner element, what you call, it's not an element, it's a value, this banner value or banner selector to add a picture behind this line. Right. Okay. So we have that. Okay. So now we call, sorry, we need to call in this banner again. How do we add this banner here or select the banner here on the CSS tag? We have a class called banner. So when I apply changes or when I apply CSS styling on this part using this banner tag, this banner value, how do we go about that? So we said if it's a class, we use a dot banner, right? Meaning that we're calling that name, right? So mine is complaining about something there. Let me. So you see, I'm seeing a squeaky line there at the bottom of the banner. So that means Visual Studio Code is picking up an error. It says there is something wrong here that is done. That's why it's complaining about that. So I just want to see why is it complaining about that banner. So with the class banner, what you do, copy that. So there's a reason why it's complaining. It might be, okay, it's not the spelling, but it's not picking up this somewhere. Okay, the div class equals banner, they sitting properly. And then we have a div in the end there. So on my side, it's giving me an issue. So when I'm calling this, I'm gonna have like a big problem because it's complaining about the banner. Okay, dot banner. All right. Okay, let's add that line there. Let's see. Do we all have that dot banner there?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So dot banner. What else do I need now? So we want to add a picture behind that, right? We want to apply a picture behind that text. So let's start with that banner, that banner. So I'm wondering, why is it picking up an error there? It has a quickly, I closed that opening tag and then closing tag there. And then why is it complaining? Save that. All right, I have my banner properly set there. Okay. So now Let me just add this line. Okay, now we're under banner. So when I add a background picture, right? Background picture. So we have background color, we have background, you can choose image. So I want to add a background image, right? So now, ladies, what you can do is, okay, let me go through this with you because we want to add images to your website, right? So if in your laptop you have pictures, this is what you can do, right? So create a folder. Let's create a folder there, a folder where everything will be in. Let's say this is my web page folder, right? So there's a folder, and then you take this source code, your source code now, and then add it to that folder. And then the pictures that we're going to use for this website, they must also be inside here, inside this folder. So let's say you have pictures somewhere in your computer. I think I do have pictures somewhere that I can. Maybe let's say I have pictures here. Where are those pictures? Let's say lesson 2. I need pictures. So if you want pictures, you can, it's either you download pictures now. Let's say I want to use all of these pictures, right? And then what's the other picture? Download JPG. So all of the pictures that you're going to add to your web page, they must be on the same folder because we're going to use relative referencing, right? It will be easy that way for now as we practice. So here's my folder, that is my source code. And then where there's my source code, I paste that. So you can see all of these are in one folder, right? So if you have pictures there, because your website needs to have pictures, right? We said we were going to add. So if you don't have like the pictures of food, you can add your pictures into that folder, and then you're going to change them later, right? So just add your pictures on that folder. Okay, again, now I need to close this because the location has changed now. Let me do this, close that, say save, and then let me do this, open here, and then that I have this there, okay, and then I wanna open it. Okay, I'm back to where I was, right? So guys, did you see what I did now? So our source code is on I've created a folder, and then my pictures, all of my pictures, and then my source code are all in one folder. So we're going to use what we call relative referencing. So it will be easy for your Chrome browser to locate these images, to find these images if they are in the same folder with this. If they are not in the same folder, then we have to use a different referencing so that it will find, especially create a full path to the location, of which we don't want to do that now. So ladies, have you done that now? If you don't have many pictures in your computer, just add one picture. You can use one picture throughout your website. So just, okay, folder and then source code all in one image, in one folder, right? Okay, we have that. And then back to your source code. In our source code, we have typed in background image, right? We said background image. And then what exactly do we need to do? URL, right? Type in URL and then the name of the image that you want to add. Let's say, for example, I go back to my folder. You can see these are the name of the images, right? It wants also the full extension. For example, if it's pc.jpg, then it must be that. So let's say this is the picture that I want to use now. You can see it says restu.jpg. So if you're not sure what's the extension of your image, you can do this. Right click on the image, check properties, and then it will show you that it's a JPEG, right? Or JPG or whatever it is. So you see the name. There is the name of the picture at the top there. So I want to use this image as my background. So I go back to you can see what I've created here. I said background image, URL, and then just type in the name of your background image. You can see this one, because it's the image is on the same folder with my source code. Visual Studio Code, it can pick up that image. So I can just say enter, there it is. But you guys are using Notepad, so you have to type out the full name of the image there. Are you guys following?
Yeah, I'm following.
Yes.
All right, so do we, okay, for now, let's apply more changes to this. Let's apply more controls to this image. So that's the banner. So next thing that I want us to apply is the background attachment. So this background attachment, let's say background attachment, background attachment. There it is, there I have feed. So we have different options. And then if you want to know about these options here, right? What does it mean, attachment fixed? What does that mean? You can go to this site called W3 Schools. This site here, and then maybe look for backgrounds, right? If you want to know what about the backgrounds, you can see here, where is the options, background color. There's the background image. I'm interested in the background image. So this is what we're doing now. So it says background image property specifies an image to use as the background of an element. So this is the line that we just applied now. Background image URL, and then we typed in the name of the image that we want to use. And then background image, you can see different options. Here are the, if you want the image to repeat, where is that? Repeat. So you can see the image can repeat there, and then explains why what repeat does. So if the image above is repeated only horizontally, the background will look better. So you repeat is just for that. For fixed, let me look for fixed. Where is fixed? Okay, there's attachment, background attachment, right? So you can see background image. This is what we're working on now. We applied the background image, and then background repeat. If you want to repeat, if you want your image to be fixed, what does fixed mean? Let's see if we can find that information. So, okay, let's see a demo of that. So it's fixed. When you're scrolling, if an image is fixed, that means it's not going to move, right? When you're scrolling, the image will stick to that part. But if you want that image to move, then you can apply the changes. Attachment, scroll, and then where is it? Background. Repeat, position, where is attachment, background attachment, scroll. So when you're scrolling, right, then the image, it doesn't move, it still sticks to that, right? So that's what you can do when it comes to images, right? So that's what we are working on now. So we want to apply image on the background of this text. There must be an image there. Okay, we have that. Let me go back to my source code. So we say now the background attachment is fixed, meaning that when we scroll down, we don't want the image to move. Attachment is fixed, and then background size. You can specify the background size. Background size. What's our size? We have, you can see we have different options there. You can say auto, right? Or you can say cover. For now, we want cover. So we want the background to cover this entire information here that we have, right? So we want it to cover this part. And then when we're saying fixed, we're saying when we scroll down, this background must also be, we want to see at the background of that part, right? Attachment is fixed there, and the background size is cover. What's the other option? Background position. Background position. So background position, I want position, I don't want this this X background position. I want it to be on center. And center. So that now this, we are controlling the image that we are applying. So we're adding an image on our background. So that line, the banner selector, we're controlling the image that we have just added. So these, all of these properties, they're controlling the image. We have the property here on the side, we have the value, which is fixed, property there and there. All right, so now let's put a comment here so that you know, okay, this was used for what. So comment, this is how you comment on CSS. So adding background image. So, and then comment that out. So the comments you see, if you're using Visual Studio Code, they are color coded, they are green, meaning that these are comments. So the comments, they really help out, especially if you give your source code to any other developer. So once they read this information, they will know, okay, this banner is for controlling what? The image, right? Adding, or you can just say background image. So background image, they will note, okay, this banner is for background image. So it's controlling the background image. The comments, they just help you or help out other developers when they're going through your code to note, okay, exactly what this line of code is used for. Right, so I have all this information. So if you want detailed information, I've shown you the site where you can find this. So now let's save this information and then go and refresh on our web browser to see if we have applied these changes, and then how does our site look like now. So you can see we have managed to add a background there. Check on your site, guys, and see if the picture is there already. Nontobeko, do you have a picture there? Oh, I was moving fast. Luyanda. Okay, we've lost Luyanda. She's not online. Nontobeko.
I have the picture.
So there is a picture on the background, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you can see that what we applied, these settings or these CSS styles, they were for that picture. So that's what we were controlling on the side. So this part now, you can see here on this part, right? This div class banner, it is the one that is surrounding this, right? It's outside this. So this part is inside this line of code, right? So the div class, the image, it is on the background. It's the background of this part. All right. So now next, let me go back to that. So next, the next thing that we want to move now is the anchor tags, right? The list. We need the list to move to the to float on the left side, right? So we need to change that now. Where exactly do we change that? Okay, let's go back to our source code now. So this is our source code, right? So you can see here the class that controls this is nav. So that means if we want to control that, we can call in the nav. All right, we can call in the nav. So sometimes you can call in the element and also call in what the what you call the selector, right? So you can use two. So if let's say your CSS style, you want those CSS styles to be applied on two elements, you can add all of those elements. If you want those CSS style to be applied on 4 elements, you can call of those, or you can select all of those elements and then style. So now what we want to do is we want to apply some styling to this header and then also style to the nav, because the styles are similar, are the same with what we had to apply on the nav and then what we want to apply on the header. So what we're going to do is we're going to call all of these two at the same time. So you call the header and then call also the nav, right? So so these changes only apply to the banner because we only call the banner. So now if you want, let's say you have two changes or two CSS styles that you want to apply to two elements, like for example, this one and that one. So you can call all of them and then those elements or those changes will be applied to those two elements. So now what I'm saying is we want to apply changes to the header, right? And then also to the nav selector or value. So we're going to call those two. So header. So there is no full stop on the header, but there will be a full stop on the nav. Why is that? Why do we have a full stop on the nav and then no full stop on the header? Right. So okay, let me clean this one out first. Okay. So you can see down here, this one is an element, right? An element, you call it directly. We don't need to put a full stop. But a class, when you're calling a class, right, you need to put what? A full stop. So the restaurant is a class. That's why we started with dot restaurant. And then now the nav part is a class. That's why we're going to start with what? Dot nav, because it's a class. But the header is not a class. It's not a value of a class. It is an element. So that's why we calling out a header, and then when it comes to the nav, we say dot nav. Okay. So now we want to apply changes to those two, to the header and then the dot nav. So we want to move the float. We want the nav to float to the right. Right, float to the right. And then the padding must be. So the padding, we said, is a space outside. Sorry, the space outside our, what do we call this? Our content, right? So these are the two lines of code that we're adding now, right? To the header and the nav. So basically what we want to do now is we want to move this to the right side. As you can see here now, we have this, is still this side on the left, but we want to take this part and then move it to the right, far right. So we're moving that part to the far right. Okay, so now let's go back to our source code and then let's save and then check if we have managed to apply those changes. Save, right? Nontobero, Tisetso, and anyone who's following, are you guys done with this? Did you apply this?
Yes, on my side I did.
Yes, we did.
All right, so let's check if we managed to move the list to the right side. Okay, save that and then go to your browser, you refresh. So now you can see on my side, it removed the background color, right? And then, but the list is on my right, it's on your far right. Do you all see that? Did your list move to the far right?
Mine has moved.
Okay. Do you still have the background picture?
No.
The background picture is gone, right? Okay.
Yes.
So your side?
I also don't have the picture.
But the list has moved to the right.
Yes.
Okay. Non-Tobago, same right on your end. And anyone else who's following, okay. The picture is gone, right? Okay, let's go back to the source code. Wait, why am I opening that? Okay, to the source code. Let's see. Right, let's see something. There's one thing that I need to add. I need to add something here. My side. So on my picture, where is my picture there? Okay, so close that. There's one thing missing there that we need to control. Okay, so let's go back to the banner, right? Under banner, which is the image, right? So type in height. Let's try to put 50 VH, right? So that kind of the size of the image. So under banner, try to add height 50 VH. So do we have that information there? That must be easy because it's just one line, right? Under banner.
Yes.
So save
Done.
under banner, yeah, banner under banner height 50 VH, and then save. Let's see if that made a difference, right? So we just changing the size of the picture. So it happens that what we did here, it resized our image, right? It made it shorter, right? So now that's why we want to control that. Let's say file and then save. Let's try, let's go back to the browser and refresh it. So you can see now the picture is back, right? You must have a picture now.
Yes, mine is back.
It's back, right? So that line, okay, so this line of code here, you see it shrinked our image, right? So now we came back to this part and say, okay, since our image has disappeared, let's try to resize it, make it that 50 VH, right? So yeah, that's why we have it back now. Okay, so now I want us to move to body, right? For body, I want us to apply the what you call the font. Now let me do this. Let me check here my read shop. Okay, let me see if this is the right one. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay. I'm just checking now if there is any line, because if you style, some of the styles may have effect on what we have changed at the beginning, right? So let's say now I apply new changes here, and then find that the changes that I apply here, they affect what I've changed at the top. So I just want to put it in order that doesn't affect what we have at the bottom, at the top there. Okay, font family. So body, that means this font family will apply to the entire body of your web page, right? So you can choose font family of your choice. Font family, you can find them also in Word, right? So for me, I always prefer the Poppins, called the Poppins. And then you can add many, what you call any family that you prefer. Sans. You can see this side, it is sans serif. So that's the font family. And then all these font families, you can find them on Word documents, right? Like, let me do this. And let's say that's your Word document. And then you can see that these are font families, right? All of these. So this is what we're applying now. That's the font family that I've applied. Okay, let me try to move a bit quicker because time is not on our side now. All right, so we have the body. Have we all applied your body? And then the font family? Yes, we're done with that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now I want to change. So now you can see this part, right? The home, the menu, the about us, and then the expect. It is not on a block line, right? It's under inline. I want it to be a block. So when it's a block, it means that you see it will take this effect whereby this is a block, meaning that it is on one straight line. But on this part now, you can see it is on inline. So there is home, there is menu, there is about us, as expect. So I want to put this as a block, like what I have here. So this is what we want to do now, right? We want to change this, make it a block in line, right? Not to be like this. So let's go back to our source code. And then now we want to change this list. Okay. And another thing that I need to do on my side, I think I need to change the color of my my Kota zone restaurant part here, because you can see it's not clear. So maybe let me try to make it green or any color that would be visible this side. Okay, let's go back to our source code. So now what are we changing? We are changing this part. Where is it? we want to call the header. When I call the header, call UL unordered list and then the list. So that's what we want to control now. We want to control basically this part. Okay, so let's call that. First, let me say header. And then list UL, and then my list. And then, okay, as I said, I'll be moving a bit fast now because time. And then we say display inline block. So I want that text to be in one line, inline block. So if you want to know all of these, what does it mean, right? I said we can get it to W3 School and get more information, especially about inline. What does that mean? Block, right? So this is what we're doing now. Call in, these are selectors, selector, header, unordered list, and then the list. So we have header, unordered list, and then we have list there. We have typed in inline block. Are we done with that? So that's just one line. We have that one line, right? Under body, header, call header, call you unordered list. So header, this is your header. This is what you're calling, right? And then number two, this is what you're calling this group, the entire group, unordered list, and then call these individually using the list, right? Shucks. So this is what we have here at the top. So save that and then see if there's any difference. So file, save, and then I will go to my browser. Check on my browser. Here it is. You can see I haven't refreshed it. It's on my left. So when I refresh it, it must be in an inline block, meaning must be on one line here, right? So what? There it is, right? You can see I've changed that. It has moved from being inline or one line block. So now it has changed. Did it change on your side?
No. No.
No. Nontobeko?
It changed.
Mobile?
It has changed.
She said, so we're all good, right? So that's what we were controlling there. So now you can see it doesn't look nice at all. So we just want to make it bigger. So we need to change like things like the font size, font family, change maybe spacing in there, maybe change the padding again, spaces between these all what you call controls. So let's go back to our source code and then try to create some spaces here, which is the padding, the font size, all of those things we have to change now. Also change the color. All right, let me go back to the source code. So we have the source code down here. I need to call in what we need to call in now. So now we need to also add these. We need to call in the header, call in the UL, call in the list, and then also this tag, this anchor tag, right? So we need to call off all of those because those are the ones that we want to control. So I want to start with the header, space, I want to control an ordered list tag element, and then list element, and then the anchor tag. I want to control all of those. Right. So also on your side, try to call all of those or select all of those: header, an ordered list, and then anchor tag. Where do we find those? So you all find the header is there, an ordered list, and then the list, and then inside the anchor tag, because I want to control now these guys, but they are inside the anchor tag. So I want to get inside there and then control these. Okay. So The number one is, let me start with the text decoration, right? Just want to make it none. Okay, if you want to know more about that, check it on W3 Schools. And then the color, if I want to change my color now, you can see it shows me nice colors here. Let's say maybe I want to make it, okay, the other side I made it orange. So let me also make it orange this side. So this is what we're changing now, color. And then the font weight, make sure the font weight is the same size with your the font weight for the banner. So because they are both headings there at the top, right? They are both headings at the top, so they must have like the font weight that's this same, and then maybe the font size also must be the same. So I want to change the font size also 18 pixel. So I told you guys that I'm going to be moving a bit faster. So that's the font size. And what else do we want to add? The padding. So the padding, instead of octo, I say 10 pixels. And then the margin, the 5 pixels. So now I have that information. So text decoration none, color orange. My font weight, we say it must be the same font weight with what we had on our banner tag there, on our banner element, or on our banners, what you call the banner value. Right, and then what else do we need now? Do you guys have this so that we can save and then check it out if it's working?
Yeah, I have it. I'm done.
All right. So let me say file, save, and that we refresh our browser. So you can see it changed now, right? So most of the websites that you're going to be building, they will need this navigation information, right? Navigation, like especially your home. It might be not exactly what we have here, like the menu might not be there on the website that you're building next time, but you can remove that menu, maybe say contact or about us or expect or anything. But these are the things that you constantly see on different websites. Here, sometimes you might want to add a logo instead of this name. Or next to the name, you might want to add a logo, which will be adding a picture. So those are the things that you're going to need to add when you're building any website. But so now today, what I'm doing is I'm just going through the basic structure of a web page. There's the main things that you're going to need when you're building a basic website. So all of these websites will consist of this information. So anytime you're working on a website, you will need a navigation bar. You will need maybe images at the background, and then you need like to create things like a section on the side. All of that information will be needed. So I want us to go through that, the structure of a website, things that you're going to need when you're building a website. Okay, so now we have that. Let me see what else do we need to, sometimes, okay, now we need to, okay, let me do this. Let me say advanced assessment. So now we want to add a hover. So you've ever seen like when you're visiting a website and then when you move your mouse on top of the home tab and then the menu tab, about us tab, it changes colors and all those things. So that process, we call it hover, right? So as you can see now, when I'm hovering on these, all of these, they kind of like change color, right? So that's what we want to apply to this part. We also have it here. When you move it, move your cursor on top of the navigation bar, it changes color. So that's the part that we need there. We want to add that to our navigation bar. Okay. So let's go back to the source code so that we can be able to hover on top of this. All right, where is our source code? There's my source code. So now I want to call the header. right? Unordered list, and then list, and then anchor tag, and then call hover now. There it is. Is the hover. And then apply the color that you want to apply there. So color. So this is the part whereby when you move the mouse or the cursor on top of the text, then it changes color. That's what we want to apply now. So any color, let's say I want to be friends with colors. Let me go with this color called aqua. I don't even know. Okay, there's a sample how it looks like there. And then the transition part is whereby how long does it take, or it transition or it changes after how long. When you move your cursor on top of the mouse, the color changes after how long. So you can specify time. You can put a delay there, but I want to say 6 seconds there. Right, so you can play around with this if you want to see what transition means. You can make it 10 minutes, you can make 20 minutes and see, or 5 seconds or a minute and stuff like that. But transition is just there so that when you hover, how long does it take for the navigation bar to change color after hovering on top of it or moving your mouse on top of it. So now, I'm sure ladies, you're done with this. So we have the header, UL, the list, and then the anchor tag. And then we type this word is imported there, right? This is the magic word there that makes the magic happen here. So we have hover, and then color, change the color, transition, change that. And then you save that information. Save that information, and then open your browser now. Refresh your browser, and then try to hover. So once the minute you start hovering now, it will change to the color that you have chosen. Is that working on your side?
It's working.
All right, Nontobeko, you winning. Tiseto.
I'm a bit slow.
Okay, let me go back to that part and then so you can see the source code. Okay, so there is our source code. Did you type in this?
Yes.
All right, and then the one at the top, you have it, right? You typed in this.
Yes.
All right, so what you can do now, just save this and then check it on the browser there if you manage to apply the changes. All right. Okay, so we have managed to apply changes to all of these. So this is what we have here. We have managed to make some changes to that part. Okay, let me add some info here. So under this, there's this div under the header, right? This div, what you can do is you can just push it down. Just push it down. So maybe delete the div and then put it here next to. I just want to put it there, right? Next to body. Okay. Or just remove it for now, because I want the picture to be able to roll over or to, when you're scrolling down, the picture to be applied. So let's remove the div under the header then. Because that div that was under the header is the one for the image, for the background image. So the reason why I'm removing that div, I want that picture to stretch out to all of the information that we have here, right? So now I want us to add some more information here. So let's do this line break. Let's add a BR tag. So add a lot of those BR there. It's for spacing, creating space. BR. So I'm lazy to type in, so I just want to copy all of these. Shit. Okay, we have it there. I think they are enough. So just add, it doesn't matter how many they are, but there must be at least, I say 3, 6, at least let me make them 10 there. Let's say Control V. Now I have 10 of those. 1, 2, 3. Let me just say guesswork 10 and then 10 there, right? So that's what I have. So BR. So now I want to create another session again using the div, right? So let's say div and then class, which will be the content. Now I want to add the content there. And then I don't close that, or I just drop that there. And then you remember H1 is for what is H1 used for? What is H1 tag used for? Letabo?
It's for heading.
So we want to apply a heading there, right? So we want to use that H1. Nontobeko, you wanna a question
So
or
I wanted to ask
contribution?
if the session is recorded because I just got lost somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, it is recorded. So I will share it with you guys. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right. So now we want to apply. I think I'm going to stop at past 12, the 10 past 12 or 20 past. Let me just try to move a bit faster so you can see. Okay, H1 we have. I want to add what you call quota, because we're creating a quota zone, right? This is name of our restaurant, right? Quota zone Maboneng, right? So this is the client. This is their name. This is the name of their restaurant. And then underneath, I want to add a paragraph there. I want to add a paragraph. So within a paragraph, I just want to add the information about this quota zone restaurant. Let me not say Maboneng. Let me be consistent here and say restaurant, quota zone restaurant, right? And then I want to copy some information somewhere. I want to just copy information from here. Information about the restaurant. So you copy. I wanna copy from somewhere. So I just want to copy this text. Say copy, Control V. All right, maybe drop it somewhere from there. Okay, so you guys can see. So here you can type in any information there, right? So here's the heading of the Kota Zone restaurant. And then down here, it's just an introduction. So Kota is an African cuisine restaurant selling fresh, mouth-watering, delicious kotas around the Johannesburg CPT area, based in Maboneng. Visit us, right? So I also want to use a span tag. Okay, a span tag. So span, let's say I want to make this red. This I want to style this first letter of quota to be red, and then also all of the first letters of these words to be red. But now if I use div will apply to everything. So what I can do is an inline control where it only controls a piece of code, which is the span. Let me use the span. Span. And then I just cut this K, add K here, because you're going to see when we're changing that. And then span. So span comes in handy. Let's say you want to only edit the one letter in a word, right? You want to change the color, or you want to control, or you want to style one letter inside a word. If you use div will control everything because it's a block level control, right? So you need a span that will be able to control one specific thing. So I want to apply span there and then change the color of all of the first letters of those words. And then say ara there, remove restaurant there. So basically what I'm doing is, let me just drop this a bit so that it can be clear. So on this part, you just say span opening tag and then span closing tag, and only put K in between those two span, which is the first letter of that word quarter. And then also this side, you find that span is the first letter of that word zone. Z is the first word of that letter zone, of that word zone, right? So that's why I put it in between the span opening tag and closing tag. And then span tag, ara, and then closing tag there. So you can see we have that there. So div class, so if I want to control this entire thing, I can use that content class because I have surrounded this, or I have housed this, or I have it's under that same umbrella. So if I apply changes to content, that means the changes must apply to all of this. Okay. So I have this now. Quota is an African cuisine. Ladies, are you done on your side? You have that, right?
Yes,
So
I'm
here,
done.
it doesn't matter what information you're typing in here, just type in anything there, right? So I have there. Okay. So now we want to style this content now. Okay, okay, before we even go to CSS, let's also change this. I want to apply span on this quarter restaurant zone. So I want to make only the rent to be red, right? So let's apply, let's type in span there. Type in span. Right? And then closing tag for span. And then the rent will be inside there. Okay. So I want to only make the rent part to be red. So this is what we're talking about now. You remember this side here, you can see only this part is red. So if you use div, and then apply changes using div will control everything. But span, you can control a specific text or letter inside a word, right? Focus on that. It's not like a block level control element. It controls the inline, only the certain parts there. You can see this is what we want to do here using span, right? So let me go back to that. So we have done that span on the rent, and then we have the span there. And then now I want to style that. So we can go back to so do we all have that information, right? We have applied that. So now we need to just go back to styling or CSS so that we can style this information, make some changes. So what exactly that we want to change? We want to control the content. So we're going to call in the class content and then apply changes, meaning that we are controlling this part, right? Okay, so there we are. What are we calling? Dot content. And then, right? So what changes do we apply here? Color. When I change the color of that content, you can either make it white, right, or whatever color you prefer. And then font size. So we're applying font size there. Font size, can make it 15 pixels. If you don't like the font size in the end, you can change all of these. And then the padding, the meaning the space around the content, 20. And then font weight. All of our font weight it's going to be 600, right? What else do you want to change? Text align. Text align is very important. Text align. You know what? I wasn't supposed to do this. Okay. Align center. So, okay, do you all have this now? Okay, I'm sure you're still typing that. Content, color, font size. And then I also want to add something called span. So we're calling span now, right? And then want to apply, make it red. If you don't like the color, choose your own there. Okay, ladies, do we have this now? Just type in these two.
Yeah, I'm done now.
Yes.
All right. Okay, but before we move out of this source code, I want us to comment out this part. So let's do this. Let's start out. You comment out. Right. So I want to comment out what we have created now. So on top of content, just type in the / and then the star, and then at the bottom of this span, at the bottom under span. So what are we doing when I comment out this? So you at the top of the content / and then star, leave it like that. At the bottom under span, star, and then the /. So we're commenting this one out. We don't want this to appear on the browser for now, right? I just want to show you this without the CSS. How does it appear without the CSS? Because now with this, we have already moved it around. We have already controlled it, changed colors. We have moved the text to center align. So the reason why we're commenting out, we just want to first see this part without the CSS controls, without the CSS styling. So have we managed to apply that? So we're only adding this on top of content and then this under the span. So save this file and then you save. File, save just to be sure. And then go to the browser and then refresh that. So you can see now, what color is your quarter zone restaurant text? You can see the quarter zone restaurant text is on top of your image, right? Is it there on top of the image?
Yes, mine is there.
All right. But the color, what color is it now?
It's color green. Mine is green.
If it's green, that means you didn't comment out the. So by default, right, it's supposed to be black because that's the default color for most of the browsers. So, but it's not, this one is not aligned, right? It's not in the center. You can see it's on the left margin side, right? It's on the left side. So now those CSS styling that we've been applying, we have to comment them out so that we can come back here and then see the colors all apply to this. So I want to go back to my source code. I'm back on my source code. I want to remove the comment, right? There's the comment being removed, and then I remove that comment. And then file, save. So now you can go back and refresh. So now that content, the text there, the quarter zone text must be this color that you've chosen here now. So file, save. So what you do here, just remove the comments. Those are / and then the star, and then / and star that we have under span. Just remove that. And then once you have removed it, file, and then you save it. Go back to the browser and then refresh. You will see that now, if you can see, it moves that to the center. Do we all have that? Tisetso?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
All right, Nobile.
I've changed the color now. It has turned to black. So now I'm fixing this.
All right. Okay, also on my side, you can see the colors there. They don't match what we have here as quarter zone being white. So I want all of these to be white. So I want to go back there and then make these to be white. Let me go back to my source code and see. So where do I find that? I find it under, you see I said orange here. So let me just say white. and then weight is supposed to have that, and then I say it's white. I also want to make my restaurant part to be white instead of orange. I want to make it white. Say file, save, and then what do I have here? So you can see now it's kind of like all meshes, it's white, right? If you don't like white, you can change it to any color that you want. Okay, guys, it's after 12 now, and then today's Friday, so we gotta knock off early. So yeah, we don't have class after 12. I am done. So let me close. Any questions before I close? Any questions? So we're gonna continue with this, right? Your website is supposed to look like this in the end, right? So your website is supposed to look, but today we've covered all this part up to there. So any questions? I'll share the recording of this. So if you want to go through it again and see where you made a mistake, then you can edit that part.
Okay, thank you. As long as there's a recording, so we'll be able to follow.
All right, sharp. Thank you, guys. There is no class after 12. It's Friday today. You guys have a great weekend. See you on Tuesday at Advanced Assessment.
Thank
Right.
you.
Okay. Before you log off, I just want to do something. All right. Thank you, guys. You can log off now. See you when you see me on Tuesday.
Sure.